Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about slope of a tangent line to a curve using limits. So let's start. Let's have a review first. Last time, we talked about tangent problem. In this tangent problem, gumawa tayo ng isang curve at gumawa tayo ng dalawang point. And that points are P and Q. And nung gumawa tayo ng line, PQ is a secant line. Now, yung goal natin dito is to approximate the tangent line. So, anong ginawa natin? As Q get close to P, the secant line gets more closely approximates the tangent line. Now, but we cannot let Q equals to P. Bakit? Because we need 2 points to make a line. So, ano kailangan natin gawin? Kailangan natin palapitin yung point Q super close to point P, pero hindi siya dapat mag-equal to point P kasi kapag yung point Q ay naging super close dun sa point P, yung secant line natin ay magiging super close sa ating tangent line. So, ito yung ating concept last time. If we let Q get super close to point P, the secant line will be identical to a tangent line. And that's the concept of limits. Okay, now, gagamitin natin yung concept ng limit to find the slope of a tangent line to a curve at a given point. So, let's start. Now, using limit to find the slope of a tangent line to a curve at a point. So, una, gawa ulit tayo ng curve line. Gawa tayo ng point P and point Q. Next, connect natin siya. So, we have a secant line PQ. Next, suppose that the x-coordinate of point P is x sub 0. And the x-coordinate of point Q is x sub 0 plus a tiny bit. Yung tiny bit, gagawin natin siya as h. Okay? So, x sub 0 plus h, or a tiny bit. Also, our curve is a function of x, or simply f of x. Now, what is the value, or what is the height of point P? So, if we substitute x sub 0 to f of x, we get f of x sub 0. Okay? How about the height, or the value of q? If we plug in x sub 0 plus h dun sa ating function f of x, we get f of x sub 0 plus h. Magkadugtong yan. F of x sub 0 plus h. Okay? Now, yung goal natin is to find the slope. But at this moment, ang kukunin muna natin is yung slope ng ating secant line. Paano ba kinukuha yung slope? We need rise over run. So, kailangan natin kunin yung rise, ganyan kahaba, and kailangan natin kunin yung run. Now, paano natin kukumputin yung run muna? Yung medyo madali. Now, ito ay distance between x sub 0 plus h and x sub 0. Now, ganyan kahaba. So, ang gagawin natin, x sub 0 plus h minus x sub 0, x sub 0 plus h minus x sub 0 cancel out, and we get this length is equal to just h. And kung mapapansin, ito ay x sub 0, ito ay x sub 0 plus a tiny bit. Therefore, yung distance nilang dalawa is just h. Kasi ito ay x sub 0 plus h. Okay? So, paano naman natin makukuha ngayon yung ating rise? Like this. So, ito ay difference ng ating mataas na value minus ng maliit na value. So, this is equivalent to f of x sub 0 plus h minus f of x sub 0. Now, we are now ready to find the slope. Again, the slope is equal to rise over run. Ano ba yung rise natin? Yung rise natin is equal to f of x sub 0 plus h minus f of 0 all over yung ating run, which is h. So hopefully, alam natin kung paano natin na-derive yung ating formula for the slope. We have the rise over the run. And don't forget, ito ay slope ng ating secant line. Kasi yung PQ is a secant line. Okay? Now, ito ngayon yung question. Ito ay slope ng ating secant line. Paano yan magiging tangent line? Ano yung gagawin natin? Last time, ang ginawa natin, we let Q super close to point P. Yung ginawa natin yun, yung secant line ay naging super close dun sa ating tangent line. Now, at this point, magpo-focus tayo dun sa value ng ating h. Now, ano kaya yung value ng h para maging super close yung x sub 0 sa x sub 0 plus h? Yung h ba itataasan natin? Or liliitan? Of course, kailangan natin siyang liitan. Now, ang tanong, gaano kaliit yung h? Yung h kailangan maging super close to 0. Kasi kapag yan inequate natin sa 0, kung mapapansin, x sub 0 plus 0 is x sub 0. So, isang point na lang siya. And again, we need 2 points to make a line. So, ang tendency, ang kailangan gawin natin sa h ay gawin natin siyang super close to a 0. Para yung distance between x sub 0 and x sub 0 plus h ay maging super close. At that point, yung point Q ay magiging super close dun sa ating point P. And yung slope ng ating secant ay magiging super close sa slope ng ating tangent line. Now, here's the idea. If we let h approach 0, not equal to 0, but approach to 0, the slope of the secant line must approach to the slope of the tangent line. Or simply, if we let h super close to 0, the slope of the secant line must be super close to the slope of the tangent line. Now, ang tanong, meron ba tayong way para gawin yung h ay super close to 0? And the answer is yes, katatapos lang natin doon. Kaya nga natin pinag-aralan yung limits. Okay? Therefore, the slope of the tangent line is equal to the limit of f of x sub 0 plus h minus f of 0 all over h as h approaches 0. Therefore, this is the slope of the tangent line to a curve at a single point. Before we move on sa mga example, panoorin muna natin itong maiksing video clip about slope of a tangent line to a curve at a point. Okay? Now, kung mapapansin, ito yung x sub 0, ito yung x sub 0 plus h. Now, ang tendency, yung h ay gagawin natin approaching to 0. So, let's see. Tingnan natin mabuti. As h gets close to 0, yung point natin o yung ating secant line ay magiging super close sa ating tangent line. Hanggang eventually, hindi sila mag-meet dapat. Kasi yung h natin ay approaching 0 lang, hindi siya equal to 0. Okay? Now, let's move on to some examples. Okay, find the equation of the tangent line 2y is equals to x squared at point 1, 1. So, ano yung una natin gagawin dito? First thing is we need to label yung x sub 0 and y sub 0. Next, we know already what is x sub 0. X sub 0 must be yung ating variable x. Now, x sub 0 must be equals to 1. Next, ang goal natin is to find the tangent line at that point. So we use the formula, the limit of f of x sub 0 plus h minus f of x sub 0 all over h as h approaches 0. Next, since x sub 0 is equals to 1, pwede natin palitan yung x sub 0 natin. So we have the limit of f of 1 plus h minus f of 1 all over h as h approaches 0. Ang kailangan na lang natin is makuha ano ba yung f of 1 at ano ba yung f of 1 plus h. Okay? So, ang tendency, kailangan alam natin yung ating function or yung ating f of x. Now, kung mapapansin, given siya, y is equals to x squared and this is also equivalent to f of x is equals to x squared. Again, y is also equal to our f of x. Now, substitute natin yung 1 dun sa lahat ng x para makuha yung f of 1. So, we have f of 1 is equals to 1 squared or simply f of 1 is equal to 1. Next, how about f of 1 plus h? So, ito ay composition of function. So, we have f of 1 plus h is equal to lahat ng x papalitan ng 1 plus h. So, magiging 1 plus h squared. Simplify natin, we get f of 1 plus h is equal to 1 plus 2h plus x squared. Now, pwede natin siyang isubstitute dun sa ating formula for tangent. We have 1 plus 2h plus h squared minus 1 all over h. Now, pause for a moment and let's see what is the limit of this thing. 1 plus 2h plus h squared minus 1 all over h. Try to plug in h equals to 0. What will happen? So this becomes 1 plus 0 minus 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. All over 0. 0 over 0. Anong ibig sabihin pag 0 over 0? Ito ay whole. Ito ay indeterminate. Ito ay factorable. So paano natin kukunin yung limit niyan? Simplify muna natin. Kung mapapansin, yung 1 minus 1 is cancel out. Next, yung h, pwede natin siyang i-factor dito sa 2h plus h squared. Magiging h multiplied by 2 plus h all over h. Now, at this point, pwede natin i-cancel yung h sa numerator and sa denominator. Ano lang matitira sa atin? We have the limit of 2 plus h as h approaches to 0. Now, we can now plug in h is equal to 0 to find the limit. Therefore, we have the slope of the tangent line is equal to 2. Next, since meron na tayong slope ng tangent at meron na rin tayong given point, we can now make the equation of the tangent line. So we have the point 1, 1 at meron din tayong slope na equal sa 2. Now, how to make the equation of a tangent line? We use y minus y1 is equal to m multiplied by x minus x sub 1. Next, substitute na natin lahat ng mga values na meron tayo. We have y minus 1 is equal to yung slope natin ay 2 times x minus 1. Simplify natin. We get y minus 1 is equal to 2x minus 2. Plus 1 both sides, we get y is equals to 2x minus 1. And that's the equation of the tangent line to y is equals to x squared at 1, 1. Now, to double check our answer, gagamit tayo ng Desmos. Okay. So, yung ating equation, we have y is equals to x squared. Next, iyan daw ay dumaan dapat sa point na 1, 1. So, lagay natin yung ating point na 1, 1. Ito yung ating given point. Next, yung ating tangent line, ang nakuha natin is y is equals to 2x minus 1. So, there you go. Lakihan lang natin ito. Isum ko lang ng bahagya. Okay. 110, 100 lang yan. Okay, now, kung mapapansin, yung kanilang intersection ay isa lang, which is yung point na 1, 1. Therefore, our answer is correct. Now, let's move on sa ating discussion. Example number 2. Find the equation of the tangent line to y is equals to 3 over x at 3, 1. Now, first thing to do, lagyan natin ng label. We have x sub 0 and y sub 0. Next, we know x sub 0 is equals to 3. And also, ang kailangan nating makuha is yung slope ng ating tangent line. And ito yung kanyang formula. The limit of f of x sub 0 plus h minus f of 0 all over h as h approaches to 0. Now, pwede natin palitan yung x sub 0 kasi may value na siya na 3. So, we have f of 3 plus h minus f of 3 all over h. Next, kailangan natin ng function of x or yung f of x. And we know, yung y natin is also the same as f of x. So, we have f of x is equals to 3 over x. Next na gagawin natin is kunin natin yung f of 3. So, plug in lang natin yung 3 sa lahat ng x. So, we have f of 3 is equal to 3 over 3 or simply f of 3 is equal to 1. Next, ang goal naman natin, hanapin naman natin yung f of 3 plus h. So, we have f of 3 plus h is equal to 3 over 3 plus h. Now, hindi natin pwedeng i-cancel out yung 3. Tandaan nyo mabuti kasi yan ay merong plus sign. Okay? So, substitute na natin. We have the limit of 3 over 3 plus h minus 1 all over h. Now, let's see. If we plug in h equals to 0. Tingnan natin kung ano yung mangyayari. 3 over 3 plus 0 is 3. So, 3 over 3 is 1. 1 minus 1 is 0. All over 0. Again, 0 over 0 na naman. Therefore, kailangan muna natin mag-simplify and bago natin kunin yung limit. So, simplify muna natin. So, we have yung 1 natin is the same thing as 3 plus h over 3 plus h. Next, combine natin yung similar fraction. So, we have 3 minus 3 plus h all over 3 plus h all over h. Next, simplify natin yung fraction sa numerator. We have 3 minus 3 is 0. Ang matitira na lang dito ay minus h. So, ang mangyayari, magiging minus h over 3 plus h. Ano mangyayari din sa denominator natin? Kailangan nating i-reciprocal and i-multiply sa ating numerator. Okay? So, we have the limit of negative h over 3 plus h multiplied by the reciprocal of h, which is 1 over h. Now, ang tendency, yung h natin ay makakancel out. Ang matitira na lang is negative 1 over 3 plus h. Now, pwede na nating i-plug in yung h is equal to 0. And we get the slope of the tangent line is equal to negative 1/3. Now, meron na tayong slope, meron na tayong point, pwede nating magawa yung equation ng tangent line. We have point 3, 1. We have the slope negative 1/3. Yung ating formula para makakuha ng line, we have y minus y1 is equal to the slope multiplied by x minus x sub 1. I-substitute na natin lahat. We have y minus 1 is equal to negative 1/3 times x minus 3. Simplify lang natin. Multiply natin yung negative 1/3. So, yung negative 3 times negative 1/3 is positive 1. And then, add 1 both sides. We get y is equals to negative 1/3 x plus 2. And we're done. Now, of course, kailangan nating i-double check yung ating nakuhang sagot. Tandaan mabuti, yung ating function is y is equals to 3 over x. And dapat makagawa tayo ng tangent line na dadaan sa 3, 1. At yung nakuha nating sagot ay y is equals to negative 1/3 x plus 2. So let's see. Check muna natin. Using Desmos. Tanggalin ko muna itong ginawa natin kanina. Okay, so we have y is equals to 3 over x. And then, next, yung point na kailangan nating daanan is 3, 1. Nasa ating point yan. Okay. Next, yung ating line, we have y is equal to negative 1/3 x plus 2. Now, there you go. Tanggalin muna natin to. Kung papansin, ito yung kanilang intersection at dyan lang siya dumaan. So, yung tangent line, dumaan lang dun sa point na 3, 1. And, masasabi natin na yung ating answer is correct. Okay? So, let's move on. Punta na tayo sa ating example number 3. Find the equation of the tangent line to f of x is equal to the square root of x minus 2 at x is equals to 6. So, pwede kasi na yung x-coordinate lang yung given. Okay? Now, ang tanong na lang dito, paano natin makukuha yung y-coordinate o yung simply yung pinaka-point niya? So, ang gagawin natin, kunin natin yung ating function. We know already na yung ating f of x is equal to y. So, we have y is equal to the square root of x minus 2. Substitute natin ngayon yung value ng x para makuha yung value ng y. So, we have y is equals to the square root of 6 minus 2. Now, what is 6 minus 2? 6 minus 2 is equals to 4. And the square root of 4 is equal to 2. Therefore, yung point na hinahanap natin, kung saan siya tangent, is 6, 2, or simply x, y. Okay? Now, at this point, meron na tayong x sub 0 and y sub 0. Therefore, meron na tayong x sub 0 is equals to 6. Now, yung slope ng ating tangent must be the limit of f of 6 plus h minus 6 all over h as h approaches to 0. Next, we need to find f of 6. So, paano natin kukunin yun? Yung ating function, palitan natin yung x ng 6. And nagawa na natin yung kanina at nakuha natin ay 2. So, we have f of 6 is equal to 2. Next, kailangan natin mahanap yung f of 6 plus h. So, lahat ng x papalitan ng 6 plus h. So, magiging f of 6 plus h is equal to the square root of 6 plus h minus 2. So, yung x dito, pinalitan lang natin ng 6 plus h. Okay? Next, simplify natin, magiging square root of 4 plus h. Next, pwede natin silang i-substitute. So, we have the limit of the square root of 4 plus h minus 2 all over h as h approaches to 0. So, hopefully, familiar sa inyo yung limit na mayroong square root. Kaya nga natin diniscuss yung mga techniques in finding the limits. Okay? So, ito ay gagamitan natin ng rationalization. So, gawin natin, i-rationalize natin yung ating denominator by multiplying square root of 4 plus h plus 2 all over square root of 4 plus h plus 2. Now, ang tendency, last time, ang sabi ko sa inyo, huwag nyo munang i-multiply yung denominator kasi posible siyang ma-cancel out. Simplify natin yung numerator. We have square root of 4 plus h squared minus 2 squared. So, ang tendency, magiging 4 plus h minus 4. And therefore, 4 minus 4 is 0 at matitira na lang sa numerator natin is h. Now, at this point, pwede nating i-cancel yung h. Therefore, we have the limit of 1 over square root of 4 plus h plus 2. Now, we can now let h is equals to 0 kasi hindi na yan mag-0 over 0. So, magiging 1 over square root of 4 plus 0. Ang 4 plus 0 is just 4. And the square root ng 4 is just 2. So, we have 1 over 2 plus 2 or simply 1/4. Therefore, meron na tayong slope ng ating tangent line. Now, meron na tayong slope ng ating tangent line at meron na rin tayong point na 6, 2. We can now find the equation of the tangent line to f of x equals to the square root of x minus 2. So, we have y minus y1 is equals to the slope times x minus x sub 1. Substitute lang natin. Next, simplify natin. Multiply natin yung 1/4. Distribute natin. We get 1 over 4x minus 3 over 2. Kasi yung negative 6 over 4 is simply negative 3 over 2. Next, plus 2 both side. We get y is equals to 1/4 x plus 1/2. And we're done. Yan yung equation ng tangent line sa curve na square root of x minus 2 at x is equals to 6. Now, tingnan natin using Desmos kung ito ay correct. Tanggalin muna natin yung mga example natin kanina. Okay, so we have y is equals to the square root of square root of x minus 2. At yung point natin ay 6, 2. Like this. Ito siya. At yung ating nakuhang tangent line, we have y is equals to 1 over 4. We have x and then plus 1 half. 1 half. And there you go. Kung mapapansin, isang point lang yung dinaanan yun sa ating curve, and which is 6, 2. At wala nang ibang dinaanan yan. Okay? And therefore, we're done.